Well, hello everyone, this is Al-Fadi, and welcome now to the beginning of this exciting video series called Qu'rans, Hafs versus Warsh. Last time we gave you just the introduction behind this idea and this series. Today we'll start with one verse and we'll do a quick analysis, and you be the judge. Does it really sound to you that they are saying the same story? Hafs versus Warsh. What are we looking at today, Jay?
Well, we're going to look at the very first one that we have up here. That's chapter 1, verse 4. This is
Surah Al-Fatiha, the very first chapter.
Very first chapter, and this is the one that Muslims know. This is the one that the only one that they're taught.
Time.
They repeat it all the time. Yep. This is the only one they're taught. This is the only one that they're told to talk about because it's so close, they say, in meaning. So I want you're the Arabic speaker. I will desecrate it, so I'm not going to do the Arabic. You show us what's different and where the differences are in between these two words.
Right. So I'm going to read it in Arabic. And even if you're not an Arab speaker, by the way, you're going to get the idea. So we'll start with the reading of Hafs, the one that is very popular, the one right there in this particular edition that Jay has. This is what the majority of the Muslim world has today. The 1924 edition is called the Hafs reading. Here is how it sounds. This particular verse 4, say, Maliki Yawmiddin. I'm going to emphasize the word that has the green underline. Maliki. Maliki. You see how it sounds? Now I'm going to read it in Warsh. This is the Warsh reading. So this is the reading according to Warsh, one of the canonized readings. We have 7 readings, we have 3 additional readings, and then later on they added 4 readings. So technically speaking, we have what is called the 14 readings. And still, they will claim, those who put these things together, that anything outside of these readings somehow is considered to be shawad, meaning heretical. Well, let's ask this question. Who decides what is divine and what is not according to the Islamic thought?
Well, Ibn Mujahid decided the first 7.
Right.
You notice you have to go all the way to the 15th century to get the next 3, and that's Al-Shatibi. And you notice that neither of these 2 are in those first 10. 7 plus 3, these 2 do not belong, yet they're the most popular.
Right.
So where were these 2 introduced? These 2 were introduced in 1194 by Al-Shatibi.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Jazari right now.
It's Al-Shatibi that introduced these 2. So
right.
Let me, maybe, what should we do here? Shall I give you a graph so you can see, keep the graph?
Yeah. I mean,
hold on a minute. Let me just show, because it might be good if you just see this in front of you. So you.
Right. I mean, I'm just trying to help the viewers know the history of this. We've done it before.
Shatibi does the 14. So you have 7, then you have 14, then you have 3, then you have 6.
And that's what I was referring for the 3, the additional 3. That's what I meant by the Jazari.
That's Jazari, yeah.
Yes. So what I want people to do is to go and watch our video series called The Qira'at Conundrum, and you will get the in-depth teaching about all of this. Now, I'm glad we're having this conversation, me and Jay. You can tell that there are so many things that are playing out here in terms of which Quran really was the first reading, which one is considered to be the 7 ahruf that were revealed to the Prophet, and how come we have 10? How come we read about 14? See, 7 is different than 10, 7 is different than 14. But all that to say, let's lay that aside. I read to you what Hafs reading says, Maliki Yawmiddin, which translates what? The owner of the Day of Judgment. Now let's see how Warsh read, Maliki Yawmiddin. Does Malik sound like Malik? Notice, Malik. You don't have to be an Arab reader, by the way, to know that it doesn't even sound the same. And that's true. What does Malik mean? He is the king. He's the king of the day of judgment, the king of the day of recompense. Now, believe it or not, Jay, I'm not going to get into the Shawaz readings according at least to some of these studies, but there is a reading by Abu Hanifa says Malaka Yawmiddin possessed the day of recompense. Who did he possess us from? I thought he was the owner of everything, wasn't he? So is he the owner or is he the king? 2 different meanings if you put it in perspective.
Yeah, so we have that here. Is Allah the only owner, or is he the king of the day of recompense? To be fair, Muslims are only given this one because this is the easiest one to defend. Because people say, well, if you're an owner, you're also the king. If a king is an owner, then the owner would be the king, or the king would be the owner. The 2 can be interchangeable. So that's why they love to use this one. And that's why we're saying, nonetheless, which is the one that's in heaven? One has the Fatah here, the other one has the Dagar Aleph over there. The Dagar Aleph is the long A. We're not even sure when the Dagar Aleph was introduced, because I don't recall any of these, either the Fatah or the Dagar Aleph, existing in the 7th century. If these are from the 7th century, then you've got a problem here. Obviously, these are added at a much later date. But just as this first one, we want to go on to do the next one for the next episode.
That's right. And you know, you mentioned something about diacritical markings, and even those who added these diacritical markings, obviously they added it to allow for an ease of pronunciation. So they still allowed it to pronounce Malik versus Malik, which tells us that there were different schools of thoughts on how to read this particular verse. Theologically speaking, that's the question that Dr. J posed. Was he the only owner of the Day of Recompense? Or was he a king or the king? And were there other kings that were possessing this particular day? And the list can go on and on and on. Thank you for watching this one. Next time we will have another verse, and we will wrestle with how to pronounce these words in every video and why it is significant for us to highlight to you the difference between the two pronunciations. This is Al-Fadi. Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, CIRA International, and click on the bell so that you receive notifications whenever we publish a new video or go live. I would also like to appeal to you to consider becoming a Patreon patron by clicking the link right below. By doing so, you can give towards the production of these videos. There are also other options for you where you can give to our channel. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.